Hey guys, thank you so much for watching the Replayer podcast. If you like what you see, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe to us on YouTube to stay up to date with all of our latest content. If you want to support the show, you can do that too by clicking on the support link in the description box below.
Thanks, Pagan. If you guys want to support us, you can get started for as little as $1 a month. All soup will be put towards improving the podcast and helping us keep doing what we love, meeting replayers. You can get started by going to anchor.fm/thereplayerpodcast/support or click on the link in the show notes. Thank you. What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Replayer Podcast. I'm Dan, your host this week, the cool guy, as you heard from Pagan. My co-host,
Dan is so
Pagan.
cool. Hi. Oh my gosh, hi. You're so cool.
So cool.
So cool.
What are we doing?
So
Oh yeah,
suave.
we're having a podcast.
It's because you were dancing. You're just like this, and
my
you're
little,
like
just my little white guy dance.
your white dance. That's it.
Well, anyways, joining us this week, we have some replayer guests. Returning to the show is Wendy.
Hi.
And new to the show is Amelia.
Yeah.
I think the audio broke.
I know,
Sorry.
it's so loud that you broke
The
There you go.
aforementioned Amelia, you've been shouted out in like the past two episodes.
I know, I feel
2
so
episodes. Yeah.
I feel so loved.
That's how you do it.
You are special.
Thanks. I know.
I'm gonna press some
I know.
buttons.
I know.
Before we get on to moving on to meeting our
The
replayer
moving
guests,
of the
I'm drunk.
meeting? We're moving the meeting. Oh my
the
god.
meeting of the moving, we'll start with me talking about Wendy because she's been on our show before
Wow.
on episode 6.
Yes.
which was called
Wow,
Nolan Can
episode
Hook Me.
6. Oh my god, the fishing episode. Oh
That
my
was-
god.
You liked
What a
this.
throwback. What a
So
throwback.
that episode was our 6th episode of almost a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. It has been a year.
Now we get to see your lovely face.
And you know what else was fun about that episode? It was the first time we asked our replayer guests about how they became a replayer.
It was.
We
It
did not call it a
was?
replayer journey back then.
Oh.
It was a very long-winded
The
question.
replayer journey thing is such a fucking like. What about your replayer
Hero's
journey?
journey.
What
Tell
is
us
your
how you
replayer
got here.
journey?
How did you
Yes.
find us?
How you found it?
Spare no detail. Like,
So
sorry.
in light of that, we will start it again, especially since it has been a year. Things have changed, lives have changed. We will start again with the proper replayer journey. And why don't you kick us off, Wendy? Tell us a little bit about how you came to Retro Replay.
Catch us up.
I'm not ready.
I was not ready for this. I can't even remember. It's been that long now. Was it like March time? I probably started the same time around you guys. And I didn't realize for the longest time that there was a live chat until I think it was they tweeted out about Kat's special mention right at the beginning
Right,
of the show.
yes.
I'm going to catch this episode. I'm going to
Just so you know, I will be comparing this answer to your original answer from episode 6.
It was like just put up little pop-ups.
Brilliant.
This discrepancy. And yeah, I think because I was like I say, I caught it after the fact, so it was always like, you know, it had been uploaded for a couple of days, and I just catch it as and when. That was the first time I jumped in as it was coming along, and everyone was like, cat, and I was just like, oh, cat, yay, why not? It's like, you're like, I'm like a dog. If you're excited, I'm excited. Like, so,
That's the perfect way of putting the live chat, honestly.
yeah. And I think right at the end, someone said, oh, join the Discord. And I was like, oh, Discord. And I just Googled it. And there came up Robbie's Discord, and as it was. So as it
Cool.
was.
Rest is history,
Here
or
I
as
am.
Chris would say. And now
She
we're
did
all
say
friends.
And
in her
now we're all
original
friends.
I'm
answer,
getting pissed on your
she had mentioned in her original answer the Googling the Discord. And like,
Yeah.
yay, there it is. So
as if you remember, that's cute.
There you
I
go.
just listened back to the
You're like
episode,
going
that's all.
still-
Yeah. He
Aw.
cheated. He listened back.
That's like that's
It's
a
your
little nod
quote.
to this week's
Quote.
episode of Retro Replay too, because Amy Hennig kind of did something with Nolan. Like, you remember that? Like, no, I was reading it.
Last time we was everyone was talking about how amazing Amy Hennig was, and we were just like, Amy, love me, please.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
Amy.
That woman.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Did you-
Dan looks like he's about to have a stroke. I'm so sorry.
You get the
No worries.
We'll get
we're
to
all
it.
good.
We'll get to Amy. We'll get to Amy Hennig.
Yeah, oh,
Absolutely.
God, yeah.
We have so much
But,
love for her. We'll get to it.
Sorry. Amelia.
Yeah.
So
I am
Amelia,
still here.
tell us a little bit about your replay journey.
Good question, because I don't even know myself.
How did you find the show? Did you find it through Twitter, YouTube, Instagram?
YouTube recommendations, believe it or not.
See, there we go. That's a start. There you go.
I just get
Yeah,
asthma, and I'm not even into that.
I don't think what it was. I want to say it was the first Uncharted playthrough that popped up in my recommendations. I don't know what I must have been watching for that to come in my recommendation, but here we are. And yeah, I think it was
Good.
Uncharted 1. It was like one of the midway through episodes, so it wasn't like the first episode. So I
Okay.
haven't been from the start, like most people.
That's
But-
okay. You can come in anytime. You can come
Yeah.
in anytime.
And then I
I'm
didn't
gonna
really
start
like-
doing
have
what I
you
did
here.
to Cass to you.
I do it a lot.
We speak with our hands. We're expressive people.
Yes.
I am too, but I
Amelia
learned that I can't
alone.
knock things
Yeah.
off my
You
desk.
bully
when
me
I
enough
get
on Uncharted.
excited.
Don't bully me on here too.
Yeah. You're allowed.
Put me on blast.
Don't make me come over there, Dan.
Pagan just mumming it. Like,
It's all right, sweetie. Go ahead. What were you saying?
The bad man is gone. You can resume.
The bad man has stopped talking now. What were you saying, sweetie?
He's gone now. He's gone.
So you found it through like a YouTube recommendation?
Yeah.
For Uncharted, the first playthrough.
Yeah, the first
Oh,
one.
okay, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
That's good. Did you know
And the
about the live
rest
chats
is
when you-
history.
No. See, live chats. I didn't join a live chat till like the Last of Us playthrough because I was sleeping.
Oh, I see. Okay. yeah,
As
fair
you
enough.
should be. You
Hey,
should
Yeah.
be
oh, God, let's
sleeping.
not start this off again, okay?
Yeah. To be
already-
fair, we've all done this. Like everyone's like, oh, okay, like the live chats and everything, and I didn't know about the live chats that they existed first.
Yeah.
And then when I did know they existed, I'm like, it's like 12 o'clock our time. And then I think when winter comes, we put the hour back.
Yep.
So it starts at like 11, and I'm like, oh, thank God. Now I can actually watch the show and be involved in the podcast. Or sorry, in like the live chats and stuff. But then
Yeah.
it's just like, as soon as we go into summertime, we push the hour forward, and it's like, fuck. Like,
Yep.
I'm so tired. Just
And then, like,
barely
"Oh, I'm
typing
working, I
like,
promise."
hello. I often do this thing now where I'm tagging someone in live chat, but I've typed it too quickly and I press enter before I'm finished tagging. So like if I'm typing Scaldi, I'm like at SC and then I press SN and I'm like,
I
I
do
gotta
that
do
all
it
the time.
again. Just like I do that all the
It's
time.
like you're talking about Snapchat.
Yep. Yeah.
What? What are we talking about? I got lost.
We
Anyways,
cut off.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
checked out.
just to get to know you guys.
lost.
Yeah.
He's
My
gone
last thing I
already.
heard was Snapchat.
Oh.
To get to know our replayers a little better now, we have a questionnaire. We did not have that when you were on the show, Wendy.
No, you
So
did
we're
not.
going to learn a little bit more about you.
Things
I
have
so
changed.
badly want to start splicing little bits from that episode into this. That'll be fun.
Do it.
Especially Pagan, your recording on that episode sounds like you phoned it in.
Oh really?
Yeah, I don't know why. It's
Probably
just
did.
the audio for you sounds very phone call-y.
We've
But anyways-
improved slightly.
It was
it with
improved, I would say. We've gotten better.
Yeah, I think you were. Were you it was with Britt, right? She was on with
Yes.
Britt O'Neill? Yeah.
Yeah, and you could just hear Brit in the background going, I agree.
Yeah. She's so cute. I was on
Aw.
So
Shymus
sweet.
stream recently, and she's like, "Oh hi, Pagan," and I'm like, "Oh my god, I've missed you guys so much. Like
I
you're
haven't
so
talked to
adorable."
Brit in so long.
Shout out to Britt, man. Shout out to Britt and
Yeah.
Shymy for her charity stream. Anyway,
That was fun.
So moving on,
to the question.
we are going to ask some questions. The first one is, what was your first introduction to gaming? And I'm going to throw it to Amelia.
I knew you was going to throw it to me first.
You did not.
Well, because I'm a wee babby, I actually, I'm thinking about it, it's probably PlayStation 2.
Oh my
That's pretty
gosh,
good for a wee
someone
babby.
like console up from me. That's crazy. I don't think
Yeah.
we've ever had that on the podcast before.
Oh, we baby.
Yeah.
They've always had
thinking
like either PlayStation 1 or previous, and this
Yeah,
is the first time we've had it. Wow, that's cool.
PlayStation 2.
Good console to start on.
I know, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm
selling
kinda
console of
jealous,
all time.
honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to like I think my dad had one first, and I'd be like sat there watching him, like, what are you doing? What's this? What's this thing do? So I'd be like watching him, seeing what he's playing. I used to play like Tomb Raiders and like GTA was a big one. I used to love watching him play GTA.
Good choice.
I was like, yes, I want to play this. And he's
Wow.
like, no, you're not playing this. You're like 6 years old and not playing GTA. But yeah, PS2. And then like my birthday, they got me like a pink PlayStation 2. And I was like, I love this so much. And all the pink memory cards that you put in
I
it.
remember that model coming out.
Yeah. And I remember distinctly, I had Simpsons Hit and Run for PS2. And
Oh my god, we
game.
had that. That was such a great
it was like
game.
the kid equivalent of GTA, and I was like, "This is my favorite game."
Pretty
and I
much.
still to this day,
Yeah.
I want a remaster of it. Like, it's so good.
There's another like kid equivalent of GTA out there in the world now that I actually think is really fun. It was the Lego City Undercover game.
Yes, I love
It's-
Lego games.
Aw.
Definitely check it out if you're a Lego fan. And it's basically GTA but with Lego figures.
Yeah.
So cute.
Like
Yeah.
Sam's
Pretty good.
prostitutes.
Yeah.
There's a
So they
lot of
Lego
like
prostitutes.
there's a bunch of like Shawshank Redemption references in it. So there's like a guy with a fake Morgan Freeman voice, like narrating everything.
Oh wow.
That's amazing.
It's great.
That's fantastic.
Oh,
How about
yeah.
you, Wendy?
Oh, mine's much older.
Oh man.
Do you remember the Commodore?
I do.
Yes, we had someone say this before as well.
There was a game called Neverlix, and I just used to think it was a pig. You used to play a pig, but I found out as I got older that it's an alien. And you used to just climb a tower and just jump up and avoid all the little dots and stuff like that. But probably like the first couple of games I properly played would be Tomb Raider on PS1. Like that's like the first console.
I love Tomb Raider.
Mhm.
Tomb Raider's
It's going to
good.
be like hardcore Commodore enthusiasts going like, but it's all about the PS1 for me because like Tomb Raider 1 and 2, like I still have Tomb Raider 2 and I love it. If that was remastered, I'd have already platinumed it. I did
I
play
mean,
that
they
on a-
did
Cool for it.
remake Tomb Raider 1.
Yes,
Did.
anniversary.
Anniversary.
Yeah.
I've got that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got that, completed it, platinumed it.
I will say like because the PS1 was one of my first proper platforms that was like, this is my console to play. Like I have just great fond memories of the PlayStation 1 in my library here that I point to now every episode is attest to that.
Noodle.
I'm fancy like that.
It's half noodle arm.
The half
There you go,
noodle
Chris.
arm.
Shout out.
Yeah.
PS1, though, like Metal Gear Solid was probably one that I didn't understand properly, but I
You
loved
mean
playing.
that?
Oh, damn.
Pagan's face.
You a gamer or something, Dan? Are those video games there? Would you like to take us through your collection?
Yeah.
I can. All right, let's go.
Oh,
Let's
no,
like break it down
That
like
could be a,
one by one.
side episode or like a side video for the YouTube.
It's
You
just
go-
me
you go
like,
for it,
and
man.
here we
Yeah.
have Metal Gear, and here we have Resident
Yeah.
Evil, and here we have
You know what?
Like
I didn't think
Psych-
those
no,
kind of
Psych
videos
Cooper.
would work on YouTube, and yet hauls are a thing. So
True that.
I mean, do it. Like, just fucking do it.
I have not seen these videos. I'll have to see it.
Are you kidding? I will send them to you. It's fine.
Perfect.
I know me and Dan are massive fans of David Hayter and Metal Gear Solid in general. And do you know how hard it was to not tell you that I was going to talk to him? Because he kept changing it and I didn't know it was going to happen until he went, "Can you do now?" And I was like, yeah.
Oh, right. That's
How
right. You did
was
an interview
that?
with David
That's
Hayter.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was really
We should
cool.
talk David Hayter because I met him not long ago.
Yeah, he's so cool. He's just so chilled out. He's just sat there, like, leaning back in his chair and, like,
Was he double fisting beers when you talked to him?
Yeah.
Because he was when I talked
We
to
say
him.
dual wielding. We don't say double fisting.
Double
We say
fisting? I was
dual
like-
wielding.
Double fisting.
Double fisting sounds like a euphemism, like
Yeah,
phrasing.
that's what I was like. I was like,
Archer.
That might be a
Come back
very
and talk to me. So
rural
next time
New
we
York
have him,
thing.
I will be able to talk to you about it properly.
Definitely. You guys
I'll be
hit
like,
each other up in
Dan,
DMs.
Dan. Like, what should we ask him? Apparently, he's got something coming out on Netflix.
Mm.
Ooh, exclusive.
That's exciting.
Well, he just did a new game too. He's featured
Steam
in a new.
Dolls.
Is that what it is?
There's
No,
one
no,
Steam
no.
Dolls, one that's a VR
No,
thing.
Steam
I can't
Girls. No, there's another new VR game that he stars in.
Oh.
remember. Yeah, he's a bad guy.
Um,
Ooh.
I
Yeah,
can't
he's a
remember
bad
what
guy. He's a Russian bad guy, and it looks pretty awesome.
Look at that raspy
Myself and
voice.
Amelia are just like doo, 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 doo,
Literally.
birds flying around. being like,
Anyways,
something
Back to our
shiny."
questions. let's go with what's your preferred platform? And I'm gonna go to Wendy first.
Sony.
Sony's not a platform.
Sony.
PlayStation, okay?
PlayStation, yeah.
Obviously, 'cause it's like the
PlayStation.
latest, but
Let it be known that I asked
She
this
was
question
hardly gonna
knowing
say
that it's
Vita.
loaded as hell because everyone is gonna say
like, everyone who comes on here is basically a fan of The Last of Us and Uncharted and all like Naughty Dog games. And then
Pretty
you ask
much.
them,
Yeah, Beth has got like a board going where she's just like slowly narking off things. Like, I think
Narking.
Dan's
Oh,
got like
Dan.
4
Working off.
narking off things.
narking
Did you
off.
see the wine in my hand?
Is that what that is?
God, yeah. Do I have to drink
Am
this?
I allowed to
Above the line?
reveal
Juice.
the thing.
Yeah, no branding here. No branding.
I took the
So-
label off mine. It's fine.
We're not sponsored.
Not
So
sponsored.
what I'm
That's your
what I'm
interest.
to understand at this
Sponsors.
point then is I should just stop asking preferred platform because everyone else is just gonna say,
Yep.
you know.
Maybe you should just
I've
say,
never
"Hey, do you have an Xbox?" And if they say no, then we just
Like-
move on. Like just move
right.
straight on.
Like, well, you're wrong. Moving on.
Although we've had
Ooh.
PC before as well. We've had PC.
Ooh.
Is I played Cupheads on Xbox because my partner had it, and holy crap, that's a fun game. That's
I
a
Mm.
really want to play that game when that was like announced. I think it was at an
Mm.
E3 or something or an Xbox event, and I was like, "Oh my god, that is so good!" It reminded me of the old school Mickey Mouse game on PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have to try that again.
animation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's
So
one thing
that-
I want to point out too about on that note, as far as like you can play Cuphead on the Switch.
Yes.
So it's a Microsoft property. Like
Wendy.
Microsoft helped produce and develop that game. And now here's another one: is Wastelands 3 is coming to PlayStation 4, but that game is
Ooh.
made by a Microsoft studio.
Ooh.
Interesting. That's just
They-
not an exclusive then, I guess.
Yeah. Just porting it over.
That's
But-
okay.
Microsoft
just
owns that
feeding
studio.
away
They
in.
bought them in their studio acquisition, and now, but they're still allowing that game to come to PlayStation, much like We Happy Few is owned by
Yeah.
a Microsoft studio.
Hearts.
So
Big
my point that
hearts.
I'm getting at is Xbox is just like, we want everyone to play everything.
Ah, that's where you're going with it.
It's
Fuck
like,
Sony,
it's so
basically.
no-
Yeah, pretty much like Xbox is superior.
Yeah. Xbox
Morally
just wants
superior.
everybody to share the love. PlayStation's exclusive.
Ultimately, my
Ooh,
biggest
Dan.
thing is I like competition. So as long as there's competition, I'm happy.
Yeah.
So if PlayStation keeps pushing boundaries, Xbox keeps pushing boundaries, that's all that matters.
Yep.
Because
This is
that's what
true.
gives
They
us
weren't
bigger and
competing
better
with each
games.
other. There would be no
True.
way to keep
Exactly.
going, raising
True.
the bar.
I might
Yep.
shit on PlayStation a lot, but it's more in good fun than anything, just because.
So
Wind
just to
us all up.
clear
devil's
the air
advocate.
then. Amelia, are you PlayStation platform
Yeah.
too?
All
right, we can move on then.
We didn't have
We
to
can
ask
move on.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we didn't because we know Amelia, but the viewers and the listeners don't.
They
so
don't know.
just in conclusion,
Yep.
So Amelia,
Sony.
from your own
Yeah,
PlayStation.
mouth of babes, tell us.
What? I play PlayStation 4
Okay,
exclusively.
What's your favorite game?
What? That I own at the minute?
What's your favorite game? Like
Game.
In
Just
general.
Yeah. Don't say Monopoly. We're talking about console.
What's your favorite video game or games? Like
God.
I can't pick a,
gonna say
pick a favorite
Cluedo.
child. I can't do this. I don't know what my favorite game is. I like all my games.
Okay, or
I like all the
franchise. We'll
games.
take franchise too.
You put me on the spot now. I'm like, I don't know.
Wendy, what do
quite
you think?
literally.
Back to me. Let me have a look.
Gonna be Tomb Raider 2 all-time favorite.
Okay,
Just that
Good
classic.
answer.
it's a good game.
Currently, I mean, I've just started Death Stranding. That looks fun.
I was just
say
about to
it's gonna be a
say
favorite.
that I really like Death Stranding.
Okay, really like isn't favorite game.
I know. I know. I can't pick a favorite.
Well, I mean, like Uncharted is a fantastic series, and it
Yeah.
would be one of my favorite series because it taught me games could be like this. I didn't think
Yeah.
games could do that.
Games
thought
are
they were
like a
all-
movie almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was more like a conscious character, not like a Deadpool character, but a conscious
Hmm.
character that's like, ow, like when he hits something or he
Yeah.
falls, and you'd be like,
A
ah,
reactive
I'm all right.
character.
God, that hurt. Yeah,
Everyman.
yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So I loved
Yeah.
all that, and the sarcasm was fantastic.
Yeah.
So it would be one of my favorite franchises. So
Relatability, I
Yeah.
think, is fascinating because we were talking about
So
that.
great.
The relatability of certain characters, but then you also get the other side of the spectrum where you get characters that are so fucking badass, and you also get to play them. And
Yeah.
you're like, God, gaming is so fun. I can be this guy who has no idea what he's doing, but he's fucking having fun. Or I
Yeah.
can be Aloy, who's a weird genius woman who lives in a
I was
future.
just gonna say Aloy. Yes, yeah. Yeah.
Or I can play
totally.
Solid Snake, who just comes in and kicks ass, and then even when he's older, he's just like, what is? Like,
A hard Metal Gear reference.
Nice.
That's a Metal Gear reference for sure. Checking out the lasers.
Wasn't
The
Aloy
fuck
just
does
like a
cigarettes do?
computer clone baby?
Spoilers.
That game's been out for 3 years.
Yeah. If they haven't played it by now,
We have
God.
talked about The Last of Us to the point where somebody can understand the plot of that game just by listening to this podcast.
But also, people hadn't played it before as well, so we were like, okay, we don't want to spoil things. Remember, like Cassie came on and she was like, I know of it, I just don't know this, like the story, like I haven't played
She
it. And
hadn't
we were
played
like,
it yet.
oh, you're for a treat. It's not a fun. What did Nolan say? He's like, well, it's not a comedy. Like when he was playing it, he's like,
yeah,
it's not
I
a
watched that back
comedy.
the other day.
Like,
He's like, not a comedy.
I'll tell you. Anyway, Amelia, sorry, I just completely.
Sorry, did you have a favorite?
It could be a comedy with time, right? Like that's what comedy is: drama plus time.
I don't think it'll ever be a comedy plus time. There are comedic moments for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thank God.
I don't know. Favorite game. I like The Sims quite a lot. I used to play Sims like a lot. Like The Sims is one of my favorite franchises.
I still play that now. I will build a gorgeous house.
Yeah, I love building houses in The Sims.
See, now this is why I suck at both The Sims and Animal Crossing. I don't have that creative, like, I just don't have it. I don't have this like creative like interior design. Let me plot out my fucking planet over here. I can't do it. I suck it. I like The Sims. I really enjoyed it, but like all my shit was basic. It's like a three room house. Here's your lounge,
basic.
living room, kitchen. Here's your bathroom, and here's your bed. Whatever.
The
you
game
need
I got
to
the most
survive.
creative with was probably like Minecraft and just like going nuts.
Oh,
Like I'm gonna
Minecraft
build a
is cool.
dream home in Minecraft, you know, and
But
just,
I
like
love
this is
Minecraft
the
too.
thing, how? Because you have all those tools in both Animal Crossing and Sims, but I just don't know how you do that. I can't fathom how you're just like, yes, let me build a dream house, and then you do.
yes, build a dream house.
Mostly
I
copying.
wish I could tell you, but I don't know myself. I just do it.
There you go. There you
The
go.
thing with me is like I don't actually play The Sims. I make the person, I make the house, and then I get them a couple
Yep.
of like career.
I
like,
do exactly the same.
You just
Right.
murder your Sims, right? That's the whole point of that game.
No. You see, the whole point of that game is to like build the family, build the house, get the person into a job, and then once it like starts going, the next day you just build a new family and a new house,
Yep.
and you just make a new life. And you can bulldoze that lot and whatever. Like that's
Is
just
that why I
it.
always failed at that game? Because every time I
Yep.
play that game, it'd be like I'm just focused on the one family I made, and I'm like, why do they suck? And then I get frustrated and I stop playing.
That's just it. As soon as you start
No.
having kids, and like then there's just not enough time to raise a good child and go to work. And you're like, just like real life.
Life problems,
like
am
real
I
life.
right?
And you're like, I don't need the stress.
This is becoming too real.
It
I'm
was
gonna go
literally
put
like
two teenagers
Sim
back
would
in the
go to
house. They can
work.
bond and have a baby, and then
the
once they
Sim would
have
come
one,
home.
fuck.
It'd be like, what do you want to do with the 2 hours you have before you have to go to bed? Do you want to relax, or do you want to actually do chores and like stay
No, skill
somewhat
build.
healthy?
Yeah.
And then it was
Hire
like, I'm gonna
me.
have my Sim play video games, and then like all the dishes don't get done, and the house is on fire, and he's just like, whatever, just chilling in the corner playing video games.
Oh.
Pretty
One
much.
person running up to a fire, going, a fire, a fire.
I love that. I love how they run towards the fire and they just stand there. You're like,
Look,
Sims, like I
Um,
know you're
don't
not
think
that
that's how you
smart,
works.
but Jesus, like, and like what's worse is like your fucking Sim could be like an astronaut or a scientist and
Scientist,
saving
yeah.
lives, and the fire comes. They're like, fire! Oh my
What
gosh!
do I do?
Oh no, I am now on fire, and you're like, because you ran into it. Why am I on fire? You should know.
and all
And
the
that
other
is
people
why
are like,
I
that
love
person's
Sims.
on fire.
It's the
Nobody's
most
gonna
rantiest
call
we've
fire
gone on the podcast recently. I'm so sorry.
It's always Sims and Pokemon that like really triggers.
Okay,
Yes.
well, I'm not going to go on the Pokemon poll again. We're not doing that again, but I like Pokemon too.
Oh, it started. Here it is.
No,
Yeah,
no,
Speaking
I'm
of
not
setting
about
on
Pokemon
fire,
since
I had set
like-
myself on fire in Sea of Thieves the other day.
How'd that go? Did you die?
I didn't die, but we didn't know why the boat was on fire, and then it was found out it was because I put some chicken on the stove and forgot about it.
Oh, I don't know this game.
The
Sea of
best
Thieves.
way.
I must have a look at what it is. Is it good?
It's a
Cooking
pirate game on
chicken.
Xbox. You get to be a pirate.
You've said it
I
on
like it.
Xbox before, but I've not actually seen it. Is it Is it like an adventure game? Is it
It's a pirate game.
right?
All right.
Pirate.
You're
You be
right.
a
That
pirate.
explains everything. I'm so sorry.
Arr, arr,
Go
arr.
ahead. Like, I should understand. I apologize.
Pirates.
You
My face is
continue.
just so sick of your shit.
What more do you need? Pirates.
It's pirates.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. We can move on now.
Okay. With that, would you guys have any game you would like to see be played on Retro Replay on the couch, or like when we're back in the studio after lockdown passes on? What do you want to see them sit down and play and have the proper Retro Replay with?
Like, they did Metal Gear Solid, didn't they?
They did Metal Gear.
Ah.
They did not do Metal Gear Solid.
Because I can't. I mean, Troy obviously he's not on there anymore, but I imagine him and his stealth.
His stealth.
He's a pro stealth player.
It might,
I
you know,
feel like we gave him a
big
really
stealth
hard time because once he actually settled into that game, he was throwing out some impressive moves. I'm not gonna lie. I had to apologize on the podcast for giving him shit because he was actually really good in a few episodes. And I was like, right, maybe he's actually just settled into it now and like stopped listening to everybody else. Sorry. Ooh, my bad.
Aw.
Pause TV. Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, I find it surprising that they didn't like try any of the Tomb Raiders, because like I
Not
mean,
yet, but hopefully.
Not yet.
Yet. Yeah, true. Yet.
I mean, like, yeah. I mean, to be fair, there's so many out there that like that retro games that they haven't even tried. That you're kind of like, okay, this
know-
has got to be somewhere.
We've had Tomb Raider a couple of times, so I'd say Tomb Raider's probably at the top of the board if we actually had a
Yeah.
board and kept track of like who
Getting
said
it
what.
right at the top.
Pretty
That's
sure
usually up in the
it's gonna
background.
have a big anniversary next year, but I think it's the end of next year. I think
Oh,
it
they
came out
probably
like
do things
96
in line with stuff like that, don't they?
or
Get the
something.
marketing up.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm just saying because I was we were looking it up yesterday. My friend and I were having a conversation about Tomb Raider,
So
the Tomb Raider
Amelia,
anniversary, and then I was like, what am I about? Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
what would you like to see them play? And I'm gonna help you focus on it because you said you
Thank you.
started with a PS2. Pick a
I
PS2
did.
game. Say it.
What, Simpsons Hit and Run?
Yes,
Oh, bold. Whatever.
Great
Fine.
game.
Have,
That
have
was a great
you done
game.
with that? Yeah.
I would
would-
love them
I'll
to play
say-
that.
I
I
like that
accept
one,
that.
so it's a good
I'm
choice.
pretty sure they played a Simpsons game on there though, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a while.
Which one did they-
There's so
I'm pretty
many.
sure
Oh,
they did. Hold on.
They played the arcade one,
yeah,
the
yeah.
side
they
scrolling
didn't,
yeah.
beat 'em up one.
they
Yeah.
didn't play
I
like Hit and Run,
changed
which is
my
what I
answer.
left. But
Yeah.
Or
okay, go
the
for it.
Road Rage
Warriors.
one where you drive around and pick people up like a taxi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's good too.
What's your answer now, Wendy?
Oh, sorry, I was saying I'll change it to Dynasty Warriors.
Nice.
Dynasty Warriors.
The original?
Sorry,
Like part
Dynasty.
1?
I'm
but-
googling it.
Part 5.
Part 5. Okay. I would say 4. 4 if I had to pick a Dynasty Warriors.
See,
Is
Dynasty.
this like a? I would love to see them
Dynasty.
play like an Age of Empires game.
Now that game in
But
I
feel like
Japan
that-
or in China is like Musou Warriors. Like it's a whole different, like it's Dynasty or
Warriors are
Dynasty
that,
in
wasn't it?
English speaking
This-
countries.
This Dynasty one though,
English-speaking
is this very
country.
much like? Oh, I was gonna say like, is that anyway like Age of Empires or like a Gauntlet game? Is it like Gauntlet?
It's kind of a hack and slash. Like you just like
Oh,
you
hack and
literally
slash.
just run around and just kill
It's-
as many people as possible.
I would say the Dynasty Warriors games are they're referred to as the one versus the many games because you play as like a hero
Oh, I see.
and you play
they're all
against
coming.
hordes of just like nameless, faceless warriors
fantastic
essentially.
way
Like,
to just
um,
succeed.
The Lord of the Rings 2 game, Twin Towers, the Two Towers
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
That was so good. Oh,
is a really good
what a
game.
game. Yeah, that's a great game. I love that
Like
one.
Heavenly Sword, where you've just got thousands of people coming at you and you're just slicing away.
Oh
at
my
them.
god, Heavenly
I
Sword is so
loved
good.
Heavenly Sword. What a fucking reference. Oh my god. The only thing in Heavenly Sword I didn't like was when you could when you shoot the arrow and it's
And you had
controlled
to
by
use the motion
controller.
controls.
Yeah, you're just like,
Oh,
oh,
I would not be
God.
surprised if we didn't have the same conversation back in episode 6 when Wendy was here before.
I
Because I've
remember
heard you
having this
complain about this
conversation.
before.
Yeah. Yeah,
How things change.
sorry.
Huh?
Stupid
Yeah.
motion
I don't have many
controls.
topics of conversation. I'm a mother. I work hard. You expect me
fine,
to
it's
have a
fine.
life?
Heavenly Sword, a great reference. Regardless of if we've made it before, I'm happy to hear it today.
So we haven't been asking it, but I kind of want to throw it out there because we are about 2 weeks away from the release of The Last of Us 2. I'm
Yeah.
curious to know what you guys are looking forward to playing. And if it is The Last of Us, go ahead and, whatever.
My big
What?
fear with Last of Us is having to hurt the dogs.
Yeah, I agree with you. That
Oh my
trailer,
God.
the stay
Shush.
the play thing they did the other
Silence.
day with that trailer.
Shush.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Fuck.
no, you see, this is the problem. Like, I actually don't watch anything about The Last
I
of Us
haven't
2.
watched any of those trailers.
I haven't seen
I'll shut
anything.
up
I
then.
don't want to because I'm like, I want to have this completely like I've seen text like in Troy's live chat or in like the Rush Replay live
Pagan's
chat where people
adapting
are
my lifestyle.
spamming fucking like yeah basically. I don't watch
Yeah.
any. Also with trailers of movies and stuff like that I really want to see, I don't watch
No
it.
spoilers.
I'm just like, no, fuck that. I don't
I'll
want to watch
shut up then.
because most of the trailers nowadays are
They show you
just ruin
everything.
the whole film. I'm like, oh god, so I'd rather not.
I'm the opposite. I will literally read the plot.
Yeah, me too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no, not like that. No, not at all. So the only thing I've seen is those text spoilery things, I guess. But like, I'm just like, man, I don't really fucking care. I haven't seen anything about the game. I don't see like the visuals. I haven't really seen other than the E3 launch of when they did the
Yeah.
like,
It was
initial
so
like
long ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I've seen,
Yeah.
and I'm happy with that. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Let's go. I'm already hooked. You don't need to show me more.
That's pretty much how it is
That
for me.
was
Like, I'm
enough.
sold. Like, shut up, take my money. Like, I don't care. You know?
Basically, like, stop
Maybe
putting
a
out
little bit
content.
more,
It's
I'm good.
fine. I am
Yeah, like-
going to buy this game. Like,
Like,
calm
you can
down.
stop selling it now. It's
Yeah,
it's done.
basically. Basically.
I didn't like. I mean, yeah, all those spoilers. The most thing. I've had two sides.
English. You might want to try it.
The thing that annoyed me the most about the spoilers was the fact that people were just such dicks about it.
Yep.
Oh,
Just
God,
spamming them everywhere.
I
It's just
know
not
you're
cool.
disappointed. Go and take your crying elsewhere. I'm sick to
Yep.
death of you. Like,
Yeah, it's getting boring.
it's such an unfortunate thing to have happened as well. Like, it's just such a shit circumstance, and you're just kind of like, why? I
Why?
understand that you want to try and get back at whatever game you're doing. Like, that's between you and whoever the developers are. But like, to ruin it for millions of fans, you're just kind of like, why would you do that? That's such a dick move. Like, who are you to do that to other people? That's just rude.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I
People
mean,
living off that
I
moment of
gonna-
highlight, like, oh, that little rush of I just fucked with a million people or
Yeah.
whatever.
But like, why is that a thing? Like,
think he was just like splooging the whole time, just like, oh god, I've ruined it.
oh
for
god,
so many
oh
people."
god,
Yes, got 'em all.
the person doesn't even exist anymore. It's just all white matter now. There's just no.
I need Drew to insert the clip of Randy from South Park, like, speaking.
Yeah. What did he say? It's
The ghost, the spooky ghost.
ectoplasm.
There was a ghost. It's ectoplasm.
It's ectoplasm. If you find that, like, clip that in. Oh my god, it's fucking hilarious.
But yeah, he
Uh,
was the guy who did that was clearly just jerking over himself the entire time. He feels really proud of himself, and most of the people who
Such a
enjoyed
dick.
the first game don't give a crap. And
No.
then there's a couple of people going, social justice warrior. Yeah.
People say
Yeah.
it's not going to ruin the whole game just by knowing little drips and drabs of it. It's not going to ruin
Right.
the whole game for people. so.
Exactly. Like,
Mhm.
like if I saw a text or whatever, I'd be like, "Oh man, like I kind of wish you didn't put that
Yeah.
there." But like, I don't care. Like, like, it's still gonna be a good game. You know how many hours of content they
know.
put into that game, and that's just the one thing you decided to post on the internet?
we
Like,
do.
bitch, please. Like,
In
I'm
the
sure it's
first
going to
place,
be
it's not all
unreal.
people playthroughs
Well,
afterwards.
I would say, like, think about the giraffe moment in Last
Yeah.
of Us
Yeah.
1. You know, think about how there's gonna be those moments. There's gonna
Oh,
be those
definitely.
times that you're just gonna stop and be
Yeah.
like, holy
Wow.
fuck, like,
place is beautiful.
this is amazing. Like, I can't believe what I've seen so far, what I've experienced so far. I can't expect what's gonna happen. Like, even if you already know
Mhm.
the ultimate outcome, the journey is always the bigger part of that, regardless of spoilers, regardless of what you know. And I mean, you play through a game, you play through it again.
Yeah.
You still know what's going to happen, but you still enjoy the experience.
Mhm.
I think that's just
You're
it.
right.
Gaming is an experience. That's why it's doing so well. It's why it's doing better than the goddamn film industry, because it's an experience that you run through and decide on certain
Personal.
things,
Yeah.
whether
Yeah,
it's linear
totally.
or not.
Mhm.
Its impact on you is completely individual. So whether
Yeah.
or not those spoilers mean anything to anyone, it's not going to be the same as actually playing it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Totally.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Cheers. Hang on.
Well put.
Yeah, well put. End of sentence. Drinks.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
We never did answer the
Articulate. I'm done. I'm
question
leaving.
of what you might want to
We're
play
good at
besides The
avoiding
Last of Us, but it
questions.
doesn't matter.
That's okay.
You're
It's The Last of
crushing
Us. We're all
avoiding
good.
questions.
What was the question?
What was the question?
What games do you want to play? Besides The Last of Us.
Yeah, so
Avengers looks
other
good.
games that are coming out. Yeah, Avengers looks great.
Avengers obviously it's got both Nolan and Troy in it, so it's like
I still have to catch
I'm
up on
excited for that one.
I had somebody tell me they
Yeah, I
weren't
know, right?
digging the voice
Yeah.
acting in the trailers for Avengers. And I was like,
Really? It's
really?
got the greatest of
Okay.
greatest voice actors in it. Like
Yeah. Nah, it's just got some schmucks that just like winged their way
who's
through
that?
the
Who's that
audition.
Nolan North guy? Like I don't know who he is.
Laura Bali?
Bali?
Yeah,
Yeah,
who?
who's
I
that?
don't know.
Don't know.
The greatest video game actors all in one place.
know.
Yeah, I think the video game acting, the voiceovers. I'm just not sure. You're, are you fucking kidding me? Like, okay.
Yeah. but that looks
I
good,
feel
though.
like there was a commentary that I heard not about the acting but about the casting choice. About Troy being Banner, and they were like,
Mm,
really? Why
Interesting.
isn't he like? And then I think Nolan is Iron Man, right? He's Stark,
he's Stark, yeah.
and I feel like people wanted
Guy's like the master of
The
sarcasm.
reverse.
yeah, they wanted the reverse, or like they wanted like him to play a different character or something. And I was like, that was an interesting casting choice for sure, but I'm sure he's gonna.
I'm intrigued to see what they do with it.
See,
Like,
now
no one's gonna be.
I
like,
see
Robert
Nolan
Downey.
being Stark really well because Nolan can
Oh,
be a
so
snarky
do
son of a
I.
bitch,
Definitely.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
he
so
plays a
good.
lot of
Really well.
snarky characters in the MCU universe, like in a
Deadpool.
bunch of the Marvel games, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
between
Master of
Deadpool.
snark.
He also does the voice of Rocket Raccoon in the
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 Guardians of the
RPGs.
Galaxy game.
Yeah.
Well, like the Guardians, he's the Rocket Raccoon, I believe, and he's Rocket Raccoon in
Is it Marvel
the
versus
Marvel
Capcom?
Ultimate Alliance.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so he plays like a lot of the really snarky characters,
Scott
and so
Sayers.
He's just a snarky little
it
man.
makes sense for him to be Stark.
Yep. Totes.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of stuff I want to play, I think, like I said, I'm trying to catch up, but I didn't catch the first Cyberpunk or anything like that. I'm completely clueless about it. If there
First
was one,
Cyberpunk?
I feel like I'm going mad. But
Like
like
Cyberpunk?
coming out as a big thing.
I don't think
around-
there was a first Cyberpunk.
Was there not something that like, because everyone was going mad and being like, oh, this is like an incredible developer. They're really good at what they do.
They made The Witcher.
I don't remember
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
This is the
I don't
first
remember having,
Cyberpunk game developed by The
Cyberpunk looks
Witcher
really good,
studio.
Mm.
Cyberpunk is a tabletop game.
It looks really good.
Ah, so that's why everyone was going
Oh, I
mad.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
go.
either.
See, I knew there
Cyberpunk
was
is like
some kind
a
of trial thing.
it's a
Uh,
like a D&D mod, essentially.
It's cool.
Like I don't know how else to explain it since
Mad
I
over
don't
that.
really know myself.
Ghost of Tsushima, I'm kind of intrigued by.
Oh, I
Again,
can't
another
wait
one
for
I'm
that
intrigued by
game.
too.
But like, I think I'll have to watch some gameplay. But again, it's not the same as playing it. There's loads of stuff that looks really good, and then
Yep.
when you come down to playing it, you're like, God damn. control."
Hmm.
All about fire.
Mm. Sorry, my answer was shit.
I'm just it's just like
This whole
cider,
podcast is just
game, cider, game,
Yeah.
cider.
pink. Yep.
Look at, I can see Pagan googling something.
Yeah, she's
Oh, yeah.
up to
No,
something.
you're okay.
Seriously
I
Googling.
actually
Up to
realized that like I
something.
didn't put any notes in for something, so it's all good. Y'all continue. What were you saying? No, I'm just kidding.
It's all right.
Don't know.
I can
What
move
was
us
we
on.
saying?
Move us on, babe. Move us on. Because they did answer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Cheers, Pagan.
Yes.
Drunk podcast part 2.
I'm not drunk.
You all three of you were in the
Unless drunk.
mid tip at the same time. You're all like,
We were saying this. You've got 3 girls, all from the Isles. We are ready.
3 aisles.
Yeah.
That way. Don't look amused.
Yeah,
this is not the first time.
Whoa.
That's true. That's true.
I'm usually outnumbered on the show.
We will do that.
Aw.
Anywho, we could get moving on
Go
to
for it.
talking about this week's uploads of Retro Reply, which this week we got an episode of Father Knows Best and
Yep.
an episode of Uncharted 3 playthrough. No Uncle Noli this week for reasons, and I'm gonna just screws on right over that.
No, I mean,
but-
look, I feel like it could be important to reference it only
Address,
because
yeah.
Retro Replay have they were supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, and we had a Blackout Tuesday, which is why Uncle Noli got pushed to next Tuesday, and they do have a link that you can donate to if you'd like to the Minnesota Freedom Fund, and we'll pop it down in the show notes below.
Nice.
Perfect. And I feel
on,
that
Pagan.
that's really all we need to do and say is like, that's all they did. They're like, we're just gonna, we're gonna.
Roll off
This
the
is
back
this
of it.
is it. All donations from Soup and everything. We're going to the Minnesota Freedom Fund this week, and they have like a target they're trying to raise for that Minnesota Freedom Fund to help with bail money for protesters in Minnesota. So if you'd like to donate, you can click on the link below to the Tiltify link. We can also post direct links to donations as well if you'd like to.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Cameos as well, because I think Nolan said that all of his cameos. Are
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody's looking to buy a cameo from Nolan, or we're thinking about getting one,
Do it now.
now would be the time, because all proceeds are going to the Black Lives Matter donation funds. I don't know which ones they're going to, but they are going to support the Black Lives Matter movement. So yeah, if you guys are looking for a cameo, we can put that link as well for you too.
Go.
Perfect.
Just giving you more work to do.
Sorry, I'll send him all of the links. It's all right. It's all
mean,
good.
a
I'll
link
have
is
the
a
links
link,
ready and be
that's
like, hey. Yeah.
No worries there.
All good. All good. But
So
we did have Father Knows Best.
Father knows best.
Best?
Best?
Question mark?
Best. There was
I
a
love
great
that.
little clue in that very beginning of that episode where Nolan says, "Hey, we have a name now," and it's like, "Oh, okay." So they started recording the show before they actually knew what it was called,
Yeah. I
Yep.
know.
and it was
They sure did.
blatantly
Insight.
obvious. Like, oh, okay. They just started recording and like figured it out as they went. So
Okay,
Sounds
like
about
they
right,
have to
really.
record,
Everyone
like
does.
pre-record, because they got to edit it and everything as well. Make sure everything sound good and
Yeah.
everything,
mhm.
you know.
We know how long
so
it takes to edit now, so.
we sure do.
I listen.
Oh my god! Thank you.
You're welcome.
So one of the things we've been asking our guests when they come on, because it's a new show, and we kind of gauging like, how do you feel about this new content now that we have Cooper and Nolan sitting down and playing a game together, and it's very like wholesome and kind of like family orientated, and we're just curious to get your general feelings about like, how do you like that as content, pretty much.
I think
I
my
love it.
favorite part is the fact that like Cooper is so desperately trying to keep everything on track the entire time. Like, he's like,
so
"Oh,
he's
these
so
So
wholesome.
Literally.
and then he starts to say like, "Oh God damn it,
Get the coins. Get the coins.
He's like, we already got True Jedi. Like, we don't need the coins. And he's like, yeah,
Yeah.
but there's more over here.
They're just so obsessed with collecting the coins. It's great.
Just
love
get
it.
the coin.
He's a completionist, and I respect that.
I know. Great.
He's a
He
trophy.
is. He even got
hunter.
that book. He said that like they got
Yeah,
the
the
book and everything to find out like,
guide.
where the packs and everything are. Yeah,
I
yeah.
find that fascinating that Nolan was like so into that game at one point that he was like, we have to get everything, and like
Yeah.
died.
Which
That
is,
really
yeah,
cool.
I would agree. I would also find that extremely interesting, because we didn't pick up Nolan as a gamer initially, right? This was whole
Mhm.
like Nolan hasn't played games and this is going to be our show.
But
Yeah.
clearly he
So to
did
hear
play
that, I'm like,
games
oh,
with his kids,
Yeah,
10
did,
years
which
ago
is
or
so
whatever
cute.
it was.
mm-hmm.
Bless
That's so
him.
cool.
I mean, I think that
Yeah.
was one of the first games I played with my friends, like Brad. Shout out to Brad. He's a badass. But yeah, like I think him and me used to play that game and Dynasty Warriors 5 as well. He was the one that kind of got me into that
Oh.
style of gaming, where it's like just run around and hit things and have fun.
Run around.
Nice.
That's literally all you do in that game is run around and hit things for hours.
Good.
It never gets boring, at least for me it didn't, and apparently for Wendy.
Stressful day. You come home,
never
you
played it,
crap out of
so-
everything, and it's legal.
I
So-
still play those games when they come out. I pick up the new ones.
They're not as
Nice.
good anymore.
You get,
You pick 'em like-
there are some good ones. Dynasty Warriors 9 was like, the Warriors Orochi games are still good, and then there's the like spin-offs for
the
other
side dishes, like, I
franchises.
have no idea.
Sorry, Pagan and Amelia, they're just
Myself
like,
and Amelia are just like,
We're like,
You two, I don't know how you are on your screen, but like you are above and below each other. So if you just like give each other like
we're
a
next to each other on mine.
same.
like these guys.
If I do that, we can high five on mine.
Oh, same. Actually, I'm like,
There we go.
that doesn't make any sense to Dad's
No, I
recording,
know.
does it? Like, probably like
because on
not
my
at
screen
all.
you guys are above and below each other,
Yep.
so you
Who's-
can look
who's on
up
top?
and down.
Who's on
Pagan's
top?
on top, Amelia's on top.
Phrasing. Okay. There you go.
Pagan's on
Pagan
top.
wants to be on top.
There you go.
This is so stupid. but I
Me and
love it.
Dan, come on, Dan, we'll be nerds together.
Of course
Amelia needs to
Pagan's on
look
top.
up and Pagan
Bitch,
needs to look
please.
down. You guys need to like shake your heads and be like,
Wave.
"Ah."
Wave.
Perfect.
Exit, jeez.
Editing.
What were we talking about?
Yes.
We
You're
were talking about
welcome.
Dynasty Warriors, but that's not how we were supposed to go.
Something about Dynasty Warriors and
Yeah,
your friend Brad.
We lost interest.
Yeah.
Father
sorry, I
knows
don't know.
best.
There you go.
I was a big fan of
Trust
the part where Nolan read the opening slides as the client from the
Yes.
Mandalorian. It
That
started
was
off as Rick
great.
Toffin and then turned into the client, which just became one of my
funny.
favorite
I
parts
like
of that
Rick
episode.
Toppin. Like I'm liking that it like moved to the, yeah, I get what you're saying. I haven't watched that much of The Mandalorian, and I think I've only watched like 3 or 4 episodes. So
So you haven't met the client yet.
it's a German guy, right? Who's like, hey, go get this target.
Okay, yes. Sorry.
Yeah. That's like the first episode.
I forgot that you meet him so early.
Spoilers,
And then
baby. Yoda.
it's like
Baby Yoda.
I've not seen
Yoda.
any Star Wars film from start to finish.
That is
So-
a sin.
well.
well, now me and Amelia are gonna sit here while you and Pagan can talk about not liking.
Okay,
or
well,
not
to be
watching
fair,
Star Wars.
I have seen almost every Star Wars from start to finish, except for the new ones. I don't think I've seen 8 or 9, but I haven't liked any of the Star Wars films. So
See, you,
Enough.
I've got an excuse, whereas like
Amelia's
I can just
stress
like, I've
drinking.
not seen them, just play dumb. Whereas like Pagan.
oh yeah, you see that's the thing. Okay, here's what I will say. The original 3, I can sit and watch those original 3. That's 4, 5, and 6. I can sit back and watch those.
Mhm.
That's fine.
That's
You sound like you're
If
angry
you
about it, though.
try to sit me down to watch 1, 2, or 3, heck no. Give me the
Is it
fuck
Jar Jar
out of
Binks?
here. No, I actually like Jar Jar
Oh,
Binks.
don't stop with Jar Jar.
We've
I
talked
didn't
about
like
that
Hayden
Because
before.
fucking Nolan hates Jar Jar.
I know, every
Okay,
time
I
it's just
just-
like lightsaber to Jar Jar.
From the beginning, Anakin bugged the crap out of me. So I'm like,
Anakin
no,
was
I
so
can't.
annoying. I remember him just being like, "Oh my god!" Like
I can't.
super annoying.
I can't.
I still really enjoy
Anything
those
about that
movies, but
kid.
Anakin is terrible in them. and He is a
Oh, so
terrible
bad.
character.
Only thing I like about the first film is when he comes back and he's after winning the pod racing, and the kid's like, "That was totally Wizard, Nanny," and I'm like, "That kid's great. Put him in
Nice.
more shit." Other than that,
Know
I'm like,
about the
Keep
kids.
that kid around.
yeah, keep that kid around. He seems nice. He doesn't seem like he's gonna turn into a dark person. You know what I mean? Like Darth Vader, he's like, "I'm just gonna kill some kids. Don't mind me." Excuse me.
So,
What a downfall
Zen.
in a story. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine.
speaking of Star Wars, the Lego Star Wars games are super fun. As much as you may or may not like Star Wars films,
I don't like Star Wars films, but I have played the Lego games, 1 or 2
That's
of
from
them,
Lego
and
though,
I
isn't
do
it?
love
So-
them. They're great.
so Amelia, how do you feel about the Father Knows Best episodes?
I absolutely love them. I'm so happy they're Monday
It's
episodes
okay to
now.
say you hate them. It's okay.
No, I honestly, I love everything.
Mhm.
I love everything Retro Replay.
No, I generally do. That's the thing. I really do like them. I think they're really funny. I really like the banter you get between the two of them. It's just so good.
It's
I love the
especially
fact
fun
that-
when they talked about like Father Knows Best, and Cooper's
Yeah.
like, when you live with him, yeah.
It's a question mark. Yeah.
Literally.
Oh, I'm loving how he was like, "Oh, I have a hair in my mouth," and no one's like, "That's
The
what
Manscaped
she
font.
said?"
I remember that.
And
Yeah.
he's like, "Not if you Manscaped."
Not this time.
Sponsored. And he's like, "No, they're not actually sponsored, but I like where your head at, kid. Like, it's
Yeah.
cute." I was like,
Like, good try.
Good
Oh,
try,
Try,
good try.
Yeah,
Bless.
it was
That
good
was a
funny.
nice. Yeah, I really enjoyed that bit. I
Yeah.
really enjoy in
Sweetheart.
general, like Nolan as a dad trying to embarrass his son.
He
Mhm.
tries so hard.
It's just
He
great.
really
It's
does.
it's good content. Like
It
poor
is,
Cooper is gonna
indeed.
need therapy after all this, but I think it's great. We'll pay for
Yeah.
a soup. Like
Yeah, we're funding his therapy. At
we're
this
funding
point.
his therapy. It's fine.
Oh, I love it.
So within that episode, we also got yet another Undead Gaming shout out because they love showing off their
Speaking
Undead
of-
Gaming
okay.
controllers.
Dude, Undead Gaming
Ta-da!
are amazing.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's so good.
You know what's really funny? There's a new official Last of Us 2 controller that looks just like that.
I know. It's great.
It has the
I love
same
my
markings
controller.
on it, and it's got the same logo on it. That
They
the
suck.
Yeah.
official Sony.
I keep seeing all the
Yeah.
PS4s come up now with all of those like tattoos and
The
stuff on them.
PS4 looks
Yeah.
beautiful. That
Yeah.
I really want to buy one, but I'm like, I need to wait for the PS5. Like, I need to save. Because I've literally just bought myself a brand new
Yeah.
PlayStation 4. So I'm like, I don't need a new one, but I want one.
yeah, this is the thing. I feel like, I mean, I would love to do that, but then I don't
It's
want to
really
sell
late to
this
be
one
buying a
or
special
go-
edition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
As cool as
But
it
maybe
looks,
if they sell the controller separately, I would be interested in that.
I think they are. I'm not sure. I've seen people
They did.
saying that
They
are.
sell that special edition controller by itself.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I did not know that. That's what I'm interested in.
The controller
We're
that
gonna get one
Sony
of
sells
those.
looks just like the
Google
one that
that.
Amelia has.
Yeah,
He said
let
it's
me know the
like
link.
more of like a gunmetal gray.
Yeah.
But it
I've
has that
seen it. It's almost
same-
like a subtle. It's the Ellie tattoo, right?
I
Similar.
think it's.
You know, I had such.
It's
a
kind of like
theory
similar.
about
It's like
that.
similar to this.
Yeah.
kind of-
Yeah, it's the Ellie
It's very
tattoo.
similar.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
gonna have a look at that.
The only thing I'm not a big fan of is the full face like lettering, just The Last of Us 2 smattered on
Yeah.
it. Like
Mm.
I would like it to be a little bit more subtle.
Wait, hold up. On which, the actual controller or on Undead Gaming's controller? Because I feel
The
like on
actual
the
controller.
Yeah.
on the limited edition controller though, it's not obvious. It's extremely
I
subtle.
haven't looked at it. to
It
be
kind of
honest.
blends in because it's a similar color.
Yeah, like it's just black on black, but like it's really subtle, and that's what I think is great about it. It's the same with the like the Last of Us Ellie, like the Ellie tattoo design on the
Mhm.
on the right hand side of the controller. It's super subtle. It's only like in the shiny, and the rest of the controller is matte.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I like about it. I think it is really subtle. But in saying that, I will have The Last of Us 2 splattered on anything. So I really enjoy the Undead Gaming ones too, where they're like black on white. So it'll be white writing on the black controller, or you can have a full white controller like Amelia does and have the black writing. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yes.
I'll put it away now. I'll put it away.
I'm on board. Like,
Wait, oh, John.
Shout out to Undead Gaming, which we were, hoping to get
yes.
in contact with at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Oh, yeah.
gosh. Yeah. Call him. Yeah. I'll hit him up.
Imagine like a lot of people have like from the community has bought stuff from them. From what
Oh,
I
yeah.
can see.
So many,
bought
and they're
loads.
beautiful. They're so well done. They're beautifully
Oh, God, yeah.
handmade.
Yeah, they are. It is literally
I like
hand
the
painted.
behind the
It's
scenes
so
stuff.
nice.
It shows you like how he puts them all together and stuff.
Yeah, I actually had to do that because I just got the front frame bit because I couldn't afford the full controller because I'm a poor
Yeah, it's
student.
expensive.
So I had to get the front bit. I think it cost me £20,
That's fine.
but it's so pretty. And my dad was like, "I'll do
Yeah.
it for you." So I got the video up
Mhm.
from you, like showing him step by step how to do it, and it's great.
Oh,
It's
that's
easy.
so
Like
cool.
it's easy to switch them out, and you can buy
Yeah.
analog
literally
sticks
like
and
3
everything to match if
pins,
you
and
wanted.
then
But yeah.
it comes off.
You know what? That is one thing I will say about COVID, because like a lot of people have realized the importance of small business
True.
Absolutely, I totally
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. It's
Support
like
your local
really
businesses.
go into it.
Yeah. If anybody likes what they've seen on Retro Replay or in Amelia's little video here about the Undead Gaming, there we go, that one. If anybody
one.
really likes it, we'll pop the link down below as well for Colin's
Really
business.
good
And you guys
picture.
can go over
There you
and
go.
support his stuff. You can either get a plate, he does the light decals as well, or you can
Oh,
get
I've got one of those too. Hang on.
Hey, see, that's
I
awesome.
think,
That's
and I was like,
pretty
wait, I've
cool,
got one of
actually.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
really
so
cool.
Hoodie.
it's a great little package, and he does
Wait.
so many. He's got such a great variety. And you get the full controller or the little plate. So there you go.
Free spawn.
Nice little humble plug for Colin.
Humble plug.
Yeah, there
I
you
mean,
go.
Nolan's shouted them out. They've shouted them out on the
So
show
many
quite a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because they're so cool.
yeah, it's a dope present.
Yeah, I got my sister one. I got the Harley Quinn one, and then I got
Aren't
her
you nice?
the analogs. I know, I'm such a nice sister.
There is
I'm a
a
nice
Harley
person.
Quinn one. I didn't
Yeah.
see that.
Pagan's
Yeah.
like, need buy.
It's
He
like,
also does custom. Like you can actually just request it, and he'll be like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, sure, let me do up a design, and I'll let you
Put
know."
one of my shirt.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Do it, do it.
Yeah.
Man.
I already have the purple controller.
There you go.
Ah.
You say purple? Is that?
Yeah, dude.
Purple
Anyway, Undead Gaming are
Purple.
great. Like,
Say purple. No, that's my trigger word.
Inside
Yeah, you need to
joke.
be putting that hat on.
Okay, fine.
oh
Well,
my god, the
before I-
purple hat!
There you go.
There
it is.
she is. Everybody
Before we get
waiting for
moving
it.
on-
Everyone
to
recognizes me
the-
now. They're like, "Oh, it's her." Right, got it.
Ah, yes. Sorry, go ahead.
How does it work?
That's fine.
Take it from the giraffe.
We're doing
I
that
just like a
accent
dick.
for
I
now.
look like I'm about to start like berating women.
We don't
on
have
that.
hats. Fuck off.
You got headsets.
Does this count?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Before we
Like
move
Star
on to Uncharted 3 playthrough, the last thing I want to throw out there was about the fact that we finally got a your mother reference from Nolan
mother.
to Koopa.
That was so funny.
Like,
Now that hat segment is over.
Are you
beautiful-
sure we didn't get this before? Like we so did, or was this on the live?
In
Oh, it was on the
Father
live
Knows
stream.
Best.
Yeah.
Like within Father
Okay,
Knows
okay.
Best, it was the
Yeah.
first time we've really heard Nolan to Cooper say like, "Your mother's a beautiful woman," like that.
Yeah, okay.
They're like,
Doing the full like Uncle Sal at him, talking about
Yeah.
Jill.
I see this now. I see that now because I was like, I'm so sure he's done this before, and then I realized, oh, it must have been in the live when he did it from his garden.
live from his.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
so
that
great.
deserves a fucking Emmy. Like, just
His
that little
improv
shot.
skills are just like,
He's so good. He gives so much to his fans. It's ridiculous. The
Yeah.
amount of effort that goes into his cameos is ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
it's really great. Which is a great plug for the cameos who are supporting Black Lives Matter this month. If you
How many
want to
things
get a
can we
cameo,
plug? Let's
Yeah,
go.
not only are you helping a great cause, but you can also get
Uh,
a hilarious cameo.
damn right, damn right.
Yeah, 2 for the price of 1.
Excellent. I'm sorry, Dad. You were saying?
Oh no, it's fine.
Oh no, it's fine.
Plug cameos some
you.
more.
It's fine.
You're gonna get a
Cameo's
cameo.
great.
I actually got a cameo from Richard a couple days ago.
I saw
you
that.
did?
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
And I actually bought one for Cass, who was on last week.
Oh my
Yeah.
god,
And he was
that's so
like,
cute.
"Oh And the best part was, me and Chris bought one at the exact same time for Cass. And then
Oh wow.
and
She
we
got
both
2
signed
of
them
them.
at the exact same time. And she was like, "Whoa, would you like both do it at the same time, like purposely?" We were like, "Chris sent you." I was like, "Chris sent you a cameo?" Like we didn't know.
I did this. I had the same thing with Jen. Like I bought Jen a Troy Baker cameo, and Michael bought Jen a Troy Baker cameo, and then she got 2, and I was like, "How do we have the same mind?"
know.
Like,
How are we so in sync?
That must be really weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Is
the
it
actor
possible for
gifting those
Richard to hug people
It
through
was
cameo?
okay. It worked out really well.
Literally, if
Yeah,
he
right?
could, I think he would. He's so soft and cuddly. I just want
Because I know Brandy wants a Richard hug really badly.
just like
Every
can you
time-
hug my camera?
Sorry,
Kitty
go ahead,
Cat has
Whitney.
got a crush on Sully, like a major crush on Sully. Shout out.
Oh,
Really.
But she
she
cracks me up because she likes the older gents. And I told her that
The
Richard was
older
on
gents.
cameo, and she just lost her mind. She was just like, "What?"
What?
But in a Welsh
Um,
accent, so, you know, like, "What?"
I'm loving I'm
What?
loving Richard's laugh every time you're watching Uncharted 3 or the playthrough, and he's just like,
Oh,
The little like crackle he does.
It's
Yeah.
just like it cuts
Yeah.
through all the noise, and it's just whenever he's like having a good time, it's just
That's great because that's actually how I wanted to kick right into it. Like that's still my favorite thing about these Uncharted playthroughs. It's just Richard's little
He's so
giggle
good.
that he
His
constantly
little
just
giggle.
like that's my
Yeah.
favorite part of all these
Aw.
episodes now.
It's
And I
so
like that in
cute.
this
His
new
reaction is
episode,
adorable.
Richard is actually talking a lot more and he's actually being
Mm.
pretty funny in this
Yeah.
last episode
Oh, I just love Richard.
to the point where
I
like
think it's great.
Too, he was so intrigued by what was going on, and was
oh
just
yeah
like,
he
"What?"
was a
And then I think someone
Yeah.
said something like,
Like creating stories and stuff. This is great.
Be like, "Hey,"
Aw.
but then again, Amy Hennig has that ability probably to just like make it happen.
Amy Hennig, man, she's so
I know.
amazing.
can't get enough of her on there.
So cool.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
Amy.
I'm loving all the like the
I love
insights
her.
and stuff, and like
Yeah.
especially the beginning where he was like going around in circles. And she's like, "Is this why you brought me on? Did you want me to guide you through this?" And he's like, "No, it's okay. I can get through
Yeah,
this."
you're allowed to move, Nolan. That bit was
He
so
knows
funny.
what great content really is, even if it's just a YouTube video. Like she will
Yeah.
just be like, "Yeah, well, I can deliver every time."
Yeah.
She's great, but like she does it in such a matter of fact way, and it's beautiful because like you get insight to behind the scenes as well as like a good joke or good humor, and you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Oh man, working
She's so
with
cool.
you must be so badass." Like,
Yep.
jeez.
And
What
she
a
did
lady.
what is it? Legacy of Kain, and she did. Is it Jack and Daxter? Is that right?
I think she was
I don't
involved
know
with
if
it.
she yeah,
We
I
had
don't know if
talked
she
about
directed
Amy
that, but I'm
Hennig's
not sure if you've
past
done that.
when
Yeah.
when she first came on Uncharted. We had broken down her history and we talked about Legacy of Kain. And I know she
Yeah.
she worked on that Michael Jordan game for the Super Nintendo.
I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
And
Oh
there
my
was
God.
I know she had involvement with some other the bigger like Naughty Dog properties. I think she did do some stuff with Jack and Dexter. And then
Yeah.
it was Uncharted where she really started to like take over and start directing and things.
Yeah, no, that's
like,
right.
the
It's not,
creative
she
director.
did have involvement. I don't think she was creative director on it, but she contributed to Jack and Dexter before becoming game director
Right.
for Uncharted.
Yeah.
Right.
She's so cool. Oh my
Yeah.
god! And also shout out like this when they went to the chateau. This is a really interesting thing that happened kind of to me. So when they're in the chateau,
Personal
they were looking
story.
at the paintings on the wall.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, these are crew," and I was like, "That's fucking amazing! I
Yeah.
love when they do that when they put crew
Yeah.
in the show."
Little Easter eggs in the game for the crew.
Right?
Yeah,
It's
that's
so
awesome.
cute. I
I was
love
really
that.
happy with that.
It's a good way to like, I don't know, honor them or
honor
yeah.
them in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
So I was actually playing my first ever session of D&D last night with an Irish crew here, and afterwards I came I went to bed and Adam was like, "Hey, don't you know that you can get custom miniatures from Hero Forge?" And I was like, "Oh, I've never heard of this place. Let me see." So I was looking at it last night. I hadn't seen the episode, and I was like, "Okay, well, this is great. I'm gonna look this up or Google it, or whatever." And we ended up buying one, obviously, because it's cool. And then in the chateau, like I was rewatching the episode this morning because I didn't get to see it because I was asleep. I was watching the episode this morning, and she was like, they were in the chateau. He's like, "Oh, there's Tegan, who was working on Uncharted, and then went on to like found Hero Forge, which makes custom miniatures." And I'm like, "That's amazing! Like how
That's a
it's
weird
just, like,
coincidence.
That's a weird coincidence.
Spooky.
Look at a small world.
Yeah, really small world.
I was gonna say on that too that I thought was really cool was like I'm sure I've looked at those paintings before when I played Uncharted and just never thought much about it. But then in that moment when you look at it, you're like, yeah, the faces definitely look like real people.
You're like,
and you're like, how did I miss that? Like these gotta be people. And I've done that before too, where I've played a game and I see pictures on the wall and you're like, these are clearly like dev team members. Like photos for these pictures, and I always think that's really cool when they do that kind of stuff because it's a little Easter egg, kind of like getting faces of the people who worked on the game.
Yeah,
you wouldn't know unless like you actually know someone who went, "Ooh, by the way,
that's
me."
It's
like to go, "Hey, look at this guy.
That's my face.
This guy's like lead designer of like this chapter."
I love it. I love it. It kind of reminds me of like something stupid, but basically Grey's Anatomy. If you ever watch that show, it's basically set in a hospital. Everybody on the board, where they have like a surgery board and patients and stuff, they're all crew member names.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. I think that's just really nice that
just honoring the people behind the scenes in it. Yeah, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. There's a small tidbit from us. Hero Forge.
What am I thinking of? There was
how many more sponsors can we get this episode?
Why haven't they sponsored us yet?
All the sponsors.
Yeah.
We're creating such good content.
I was always a fan of like back in the day,
content.
the old I think it was Neversoft, the studio that made Tony Hawk. Their credits always had B-roll of like their studio dog running around the studio.
Oh.
And then I think Naughty Dog did it too with the Naughty Dog.
Yeah, the Naughty Dogs, yeah.
And but Neversoft did that too. They had like a little like what was it? I forget the little dog, but they always had B-roll credits of the dog just walking around the studio in their credits of their games, and I always used to love watching those.
I'll Google it.
Anyways,
just with the dogs.
some notes to hit on for that Uncharted 3 playthrough, just to mention, like we got a shout out, not directly for Pyro, but Nolan mentioning about the replayers keeping track of the deaths, which he didn't die.
Again.
I mean, he is playing on easy, but he didn't accidentally kill himself at all. So there's
I know,
that.
even on the rickety rackety wells. And
stuff wait, hold up. So he this is the second episode he didn't die, right?
Double zero death episode.
Yeah.
He's getting good.
Pyro's gonna go out of business here.
Fucking hell. I really enjoyed the moment where where he comes into like that just entrance just before, I guess, the chateau, and like there's a lot of bad guys and stuff, and he come up from the well and he stealth that one guy, and Amy, as she's saying it, he happens. And she's like, "Yeah, man, I think like if you could stealth your way through the section as much as possible, like you'd be good." As she says it, he picks up a gun and shoots someone. Shooting. And she was like, "Oh, okay.
Well, never mind. That doesn't matter."
Never mind.
But then I really did like that she was like, "Oh, you're playing on easy, right?" She's like, "No judgment, no judgment." I'm like, "Great, because that's how I play it." But I think Nolan is now getting too good.
Yeah.
This is the second episode we've not had a death. And I don't want to see Nathan Drake die, but it is fun. So maybe if Drew could just put it up to normal and not tell Nolan, so that Nolan doesn't have like a placebo effect. Do you know what I mean? Like he'll just pretend, like he'll just think that it's still on easy where we've upped to normal. Is that a thing? Drew, can we make that happen? Like that'd be so funny.
Sneak it up to normal.
Okay,
We were
sorry, we're
recording a
going
podcast.
back, and we were talking about Nolan trying to stealth his way
Slate.
across, but he is getting too good now, so I feel like they should
Sneak it up.
up that ante a little bit. I don't know. That's probably just optimistic thinking.
Nah,
But
I
I'm
think you
with
just
Two
want to see Nolan
episodes?
die.
Yeah.
when Nate dies, it's funny. Okay, in the first playthrough, he died something like 40 something times at the end of the game, where those the trigger scenes. What are they called?
Yeah.
Cuts
yeah.
the
Yeah,
quick
because,
quick time
Quick
events.
time
Quick
event.
time events. That's it. Like, yeah. So it's kind of like, if you're gonna die 40 times, like, I get it. It's frustrating and all,
Yeah.
but it's also hilarious. So
Hilarious.
yeah, I don't know. It kind of, do you know what it adds? It kind of adds almost like a, I don't know, like an urgency or something to the game, especially at that playthrough, like at the very end, where we're like, "Come on, Nolan, you can do it!" And then
Yeah.
like when it's so close and then he dies, it's like, "Oh man,
It
I'm
makes
like,
Yeah,
so
like
close."
and
close.
then
I'm like, come
we
on, you
all
can
start
do
like
it.
cheering him on, like, "Come on, Nolan, you
Yeah.
can do it."
Yeah,
Yeah.
Also,
I don't
think,
know. That's
like,
all. That's all.
To be fair, I think if he's dying a lot and he's coming back to the same position, it gives him like room to talk about what's going on, because
Yeah, that's true.
getting used to that playthrough. Whereas if he's just going, okay, where do I go? What's next? What's happening?
Yeah.
He's not talking as much as he was in the first couple of playthroughs.
Yeah.
I also had a I don't know, maybe like a note or something like that. I don't know if any of you agree, so we'll see. But I feel like the game audio could probably be turned down just a smidge,
Yeah.
because anytime they're talking, I keep getting confused with who's talking.
Yeah.
Like I keep thinking it's Nolan talking, but it's actually Nate, and then
Yeah.
Richard to say something, and I'm like, but there was no subtitle. So it just kind of confuses me. So that's kind of like my only like, when I watch it, I'm so jarred
Slightly
by it.
down a
I'm
little
like,
bit.
yeah, because I mean, obviously, when Troy was on, when they're talking, like they're not in the, like he's not in the game,
Yeah,
so you can
so you
see
can
their
kind of-
conversation.
yeah.
Yeah, but like at the moment, it's like Nate and Sully and Nolan and
Sully.
Richard, and you're like, this is
Wait,
really confusing.
Who's talking about
Yeah.
what?
Yeah,
Was that in the game or was that them? Like
because they're all like, some of the stuff that they say are not actually game related, if that makes sense. So it's like, such and such is an old man or whatever. Yeah, that's you. You're old and you're dirty or whatever. And that's Nate
Yeah.
saying it to Sully, but you could
Yeah.
easily see it saying from Nolan to
yeah.
I don't
Why
know.
are
It's
you
probably
talking
just
about
me.
shoes
I'm
and
just like,
statues?
I think
what?
another point to upping the difficulty could add more of a guest interaction element too, because like it could enable Richard to kind of give Nolan a little bit more shit as
Yeah.
far as his performance.
Maybe, yeah.
And like someone like
Yeah.
Amy would totally start ripping on Nolan if he started failing.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
And or
That's
future
true.
guests when they come into the show, to kind of like give Nolan that little extra of a like nudge, like what the fuck,
Yeah.
man, like quit fucking
What's
up, quit
going on?
dying,
Yeah. And like,
like-
we don't want to like rigged or anything. We don't want to like still stay on easy and be like, oh, look at me die. It's obviously just really good gameplay that he's getting into it now.
Yeah.
And he's getting like,
It's just
it's
showing that he's
easier to
progressing.
play. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you
Mhm.
just up
better.
it to like one more difficulty, it just makes it a little bit more challenging. And I'm like, oh, this would be interesting to see.
raise the stakes.
But
Raise
Yeah.
the stakes.
yeah, but the thing is, like, I totally get it. I'm a person that plays on like easy because I don't want the challenge, especially if it's my first playthrough.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy this, I enjoy the story, but I'm
Yeah.
not in the game. I don't already know the story, so that's
Yeah.
probably why.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm definitely with you though. The first playthrough, it's got to be done on easy. You can enjoy the story, really have
Yeah.
fun, and then
I'll either do easy or normal. Normal. It depends on the game, really. Like if I feel like actually watching and like taking
Sometimes-
that experience in, I'm like easy. But if I want a bit of a gameplay experience, I'm like I'll up it to normal.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes I will start on normal, and if it's too hard, I'll drop.
Yeah, I do that too.
I
Just
think the only
change.
thing is like I'm the completionist in terms of like I will jump up a level just to get the goddamn trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mm.
I do that too.
I've done that.
And
with
then
a
I'll
few
curse
games
a lot
before.
while I'm doing it.
Yep.
Sorry, what was that, Dan?
Yeah.
There's a few games I've done that with plenty of times too. Like
Yeah.
I've played through a few games multiple times on the next tier difficulty just to get a trophy or the achievement, what have you. Or if
Yeah.
there's a game that I know has a hard difficulty trophy or achievement, I will attempt it if I feel it won't
Mm.
break me, like drive
Yeah.
me insane trying to get it. It all depends.
Yep.
Yeah.
Control did not
Yeah.
have a difficulty setting, so it got to a point where I just wanted to complete it, and I was like, I'm gonna drop it down. I'm gonna make it easy. I'm just gonna fucking run through it.
And you realize.
Have it, and I was
And
just
you
like,
can't.
Fuck.
Oh no.
Fuck. Well, it's like
Fuck.
the Star Wars Fallen Order. I've talked about this plenty of times that game has multiple difficulty tiers, but you can play it on story mode, which is the easiest difficulty, and still 100% the game and get all the trophies and or achievements. That's one thing
cool.
they did. They were like, we want people to experience this game to the fullest
Yeah.
and not limit that experience, because it does get brutally hard on the harder difficulties. And the story mode is still challenging, but someone who might not be as inclined to the combat can make their way through the game and
Yeah.
enjoy that story.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I'm
That's pretty
trying
cool,
to Platinum Horizon Zero Dawn at the moment,
Oh.
and I'm doing the only thing I have left to do is the Hunter Trials.
They're the timed trials, right?
Yeah, like you
Oh,
have to, like,
yeah.
I don't know, like 4
Anything
watches in
timed,
a
I'm
day.
like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like when
the
I've
time
tried
stuff,
to
I'm
like
nope.
platinum
Too
Dead
slow.
Space or Dead Space 2, which like the only trophy I don't have in Dead Space 2 is beating the game on the hardest difficulty.
You
And
play that game.
the hardest difficulty doesn't let you save, I think.
Oh.
Something like that. Like you have to
That's
get through
ridiculous.
start to finish without saving the game, essentially.
Stop it.
Yeah.
No.
No, that would just
Turn
drive
it
me
on. If I
fucking
die,
insane.
that's it. You're done. You're starting again.
And
Pretty
have you
much.
seen Dead Space? Firstly, you've played it more than once.
can't cope.
Why?
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
secondly, you
Why?
play it on
Yeah.
higher difficulties. Like, are you trying to kill yourself? Like, what
I
is
can't even
going
play it.
on? Like, I would die on any difficulty in that game. Oh god, Dead Space gives me such anxiety.
Not to
Me
mention a
too.
game like
I
that
hate
has
it.
moments where you can just die on the spot, like in
Yeah.
the moment, without it doesn't matter what difficulty you're on.
No, I can't. No.
Yeah, I'm with Pagan.
No.
Like, nah, no.
No,
I'm not really
no.
a horror
No,
person.
no.
The horror game I've really played was
No
probably
horror, thank you.
The Last of Us.
Yeah,
Last
see,
of
the
Us.
same.
Yeah.
And
Me too.
again, I read the plot beforehand. So
Ah,
it's like,
ah,
into
see,
all
no,
the
that's
Same.
cheating.
and
That's
stuff.
cheating. I've only played 2 horror games, which technically is horror survival or survival horror, which is Last of Us, and Layers of Fear.
I haven't played
That's
that.
it. That is it. And let me tell you, it's
don't like
scary
horror.
AF, but it's an
And
experience.
even watching Pagan play Layers of Fear is fun because it's just start screen.
Yeah, it's the pause menu because I'm like, nope,
Pause menu.
absolutely not.
I kept
Absolutely
doing
not.
that yesterday. I started playing Beyond Two Souls on my stream, and I was like, "Oh, this is scary. I don't like it. I'm gonna pause. I'm going to full face."
Yeah. See, it's the fear pause. I have the fear pause.
Yeah.
I did it recently in Bioshock as well. Like where I was in the
Yeah.
section where they're like,
You were like,
okay, so now you're gonna fight a big daddy, and I paused. I was like, nope, no.
I pressed the brake.
No,
John, you do that.
absolutely not. No. Although those pauses are a lot less than the Layers of Fear pauses because they're a good 15 minutes. Like I really need to get myself in gear.
Okay, I'm taking a hard pass on
Mentally
that one, man.
prepared, like,
Honestly, like
Terrible
the game is
things.
so scary that like I paused. I don't know if you remember this, Dan. I can't remember if you were there. I think it was my second stream of that game. So we were already a bit into it. And the door opens at like the side of the corridor. There's a door open, right? And it's like the littlest bit of the door is open and you can see a face on the bottom. It kind of looks like a ghost. I paused and unpaused and paused and unpaused maybe 2 or 3 times because I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go straight for the door because that's obviously where I have to go. And there's like a face there and I can't because this thing is looking at me and it obviously opened the door. And I worked myself up. It took me 20 minutes to get from the hallway into the door. And it was
I'm
a
exactly
fucking
the same.
painting.
I'm
There was
exactly
a
the
painting
same.
on the inside of the door. And I was like, oh, for God's sake. I really
know.
worked myself up.
I missed that one.
Aw.
I have clipped it. I have clipped it and I will save it somewhere. I'll send it to you.
I'm exactly the
Jesus Christ.
same though. I can't stand horror. It just scares me too much.
Yeah.
Silent
I just
Hill.
have all those clips of you playing with a panda and like her just
Oh,
being
yeah.
cool as a cucumber, and you're just like,
Panda is so neutral to it all as well. Like Panda's just like, oh, what happened? Or we walked into a door and
one
it
with like the
was like,
screaming baby
so
or
it said
something.
something like ignore her on the wall in blood or something, right? And she opens the door and this thing is like glitching in front of us and it's like a woman and it's like really scary and she's like glitching out and I was like, oh my God, and Panda's like, oh, hello, come here. She like went
Give me a
straight after
hug.
her. It's like, come here, come
That's
hug
just
me, give
Panda.
me a
That's
hug.
like
I was
her
oh,
personality.
God.
She doesn't give a fuck.
She's great.
That's
She's
great.
so hardcore. Nothing
Yeah.
phases her.
Like the first time I played Silent Hill, like as a kid, you know, the original, and going down like that alleyway where like you see the guy and he's all mauled up and stuff like that. And me and my friend Lucy at the time, we were just like passing it back and forth and being like, no. And then
Nothing.
watching the guys play it on Retro Replay where they just walk around the corner and there's just like the little dude like, oh hey, what's going on? Like, how was
They're
I
making a joke out of it? Like, yeah, I don't know how they're not scared of it.
I can't do that either. I'm too scared to make jokes. I'm like, I can't cope.
Dude, I know.
No
But
horror
this is
fantasy.
why I'm interested to see how this playthrough is going to go with Uncharted because of this whole spider thing. And even Nolan doesn't like spiders. So this whole, like, even that section where she's like, yeah, go through the webby corridor. What's the worst that could happen? Like, I love that. Thank you, Amy Hennig.
Yeah.
But this whole element of this game, I really enjoyed. I thought it was
Yeah.
like a really interesting kick for Uncharted. I liked it.
Yeah. The spiders are scary. They're like
Obviously, it's not like a horror game or anything, but
No,
jeepers,
but-
if you're in any way an arachnophobe, like you will not enjoy this game.
I'm not even an
Like-
arachnophobe and I find them scary.
Yeah.
In Uncharted
It's
though,
the
like the first
movement.
one's the scariest because of like the
So
slippery
not
naked guys.
Potter.
Like that's
True.
the scariest one.
True. I don't know that it's the fast movement of the spiders that we see at the end of this episode as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
The fast
The
movement,
little
and they're
pitter
like
patter noises,
shiny and
it's like,
stuff, and
ugh.
it's a lot of them. It freaks me out. My brain just cannot compute, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
Nope.
and I have to run away. Yeah.
The
so-
running
Yep.
away I can do, it's when you're, I don't know if anyone's played it obviously, but like a couple of chapters on and you're in that dead end and you're trying to shoot them.
Oh God,
Yeah.
yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
have clearly not played Resident Evil 3 when you have to fight the giant insects that try to inject
know.
fluid into your throat.
Do that to
Why,
myself.
Dan? Why? It's our bedtime. We don't need
Well,
this.
this is me trying to say,
Yeah.
let's move on
right. Okay.
to Retro Reply,
Apologies.
and I'll give
Retro
Pagan a moment.
reply.
My favorite
Yes.
part of the show.
Retro Reply, where we
Retro
send
Reply.
in questions to Drew and PJ and the rest of the crew and cast. Just a little
almost right.
Q&A for some things that we replayers are just dying to know. And we
Just
have
dying to know.
We have responses on some questions from both PJ and Drew this week.
Ooh.
Yep,
2 for
I have
1.
I have PJ's here. So PJ's question was, do you have a favorite episode of the show? So he's answering it this week, and Drew will answer the same question next week. So here we go.
Perfect.
My favorite episode of the show, I really started to love the advice from Uncle Noli's. I think those really are my favorite episodes now.
That was literally it.
Well,
That's
I'll give you-
also
PJ
a good
is-
answer. It was so good that
Yeah.
you did not need to elaborate. Uncle
Yeah.
Noli's my favorite episode.
Just period.
Fine.
Done.
I will
Perfect.
take it. Yeah, perfect. Who,
I like the fact that
yeah.
you can imagine
Yeah,
him
they
doing
are
that while
good.
building a set. Like he's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, my favorite episode of the show. Like,
He's just recording.
Yeah, I actually think it was a really good answer. I think Uncle Noli's the segments, they're so small, like
It
tidbits
just
of
little
just
piece
pure
of-
comedy and like Nolan at his best. And I just think, yeah, I would
Yeah.
totally agree with that answer.
That's
It
been
is
basically
another
like what I've been saying for weeks now since we started getting Uncle Noli, that I love it because it's just like these condensed little like perfect packages of like the best of Nolan,
Yep.
essentially.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
it's really cool. Do you
And what was
have
Drew's
Drew's?
question?
I actually have Drew's is, what game are you currently playing? Wish you had more time to play.
What game are you currently playing or wish you had more time to play? Wow. Guys, we're going to be here a while, so I'll just take over the show from this point, and we'll just be talking about this question for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to step aside. But the game I'm currently playing right now is Shadow of the Colossus. I'm replaying the remastered version. It's gorgeous. I loved, that game blew my mind when I first played it back in the day, so I just wanted to kind of jump into that world, and it's really great. There's plenty of other games. I'm in the middle of Red Dead still. When do you find the time to play that game? I find myself just riding a horse and not even playing the game, and doing random exploration. So I don't think I'll ever finish that game. I think that'll just be a game I play until I'm dead. And then there's God of War, which I've yet to start. It's on my list. Call of Duty, which is on my system, but I've yet to play. So there's just a ton of games, guys, that VR games that I've downloaded that I have yet to play. So gosh, yeah, there's never enough time to play video games. Great question.
I think there's never enough time. to finish
Enough.
I love that Drew being Drew, the man behind the scenes that we don't see or hear often. He gives these super long-winded
I
answers.
know. He's just
I love
venting.
it. I think that's great.
Yeah.
I've never played
Good
Shadow of
choice.
the Colossus, so that seems interesting. I saw Grace stream it once. Shout out to Grace. But yeah, that game looks beautiful, but I've never played it,
gorgeous.
gotta say.
It was one of the best looking PlayStation 2 games of its time. And then
Probably
they
one
did
of
a
the
pretty
most
good job with the
frustrating.
remaster.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was like, that was PlayStation 2? That looked really good, obviously.
It was originally, but
It's
then there's a
okay.
remaster.
Oh, I see,
Uh,
okay.
They
you
did
fall,
give the
like, you just
remaster
break.
on PlayStation
didn't
Plus a
see
few
that.
months ago.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, and Red Dead 2, I love it. He's like, I'm gonna be playing that game till I die. Probably. I feel like that game has a lot of hours.
I said I think they released it with Ico.
That's right. Eco. A game that Lucy apparently inspired the, I think, story plot or gameplay or something like that of The Last of Us. One of the technicians had inspired by it. Yeah, there you go.
They were gonna make a TV series out of it. Now, one of them.
Ooh.
But I can't imagine it'd be Shadow of the Colossus. But I mean, that game was so frustrating. Like after a while, because obviously
Really?
climbing these monsters and then you just fall and you're like, ah, god damn it, and then you gotta climb back up the goddamn monster.
I
Like,
felt really bad. I saw Grace stream it once and she was like climbing up, like you say, and like shooting it and everything. And I was like, but what did the monster do to you? And she's like, I don't know. I've just been told to
Made it
kill it.
sad.
And I was like, but it's really
That's
sad.
That's actually a big part of the story in the plot. The
Oh,
whole thing
okay,
of
okay.
that
I'm
game.
sorry.
No,
I'll have
but
to go
like
play it then.
the thing about the Shadow of the Colossus, though, is it's a very light on the narrative. There's very little actual dialogue. You basically get no real sense of what it is you're doing, other than
even
just
the
what you
ending's like-
see on screen.
Mhm.
And it's like there's this disembodied voice of like a god. It's like, you need to go kill these monsters, and you're like, okay, so you
Did you
go
miss
do
that?
it. And then it's like, as you're doing it, you're like, why am I doing this? And then like the further you get in the game, the more you
Okay.
feel bad for it. And
Oh,
there's a
you
reason
see,
for
I
that.
was feeling bad from the outset when she started, and I was like, oh, but
Aw.
so sad.
Yeah, that
Oh,
makes
Yeah.
so sad.
Anyways, go play that game.
Anyway, yeah, we'll do. Thank you so much, PJ and Drew, for answering our questions today.
Yes, and I'm waiting on PJ to answer about the music playlist, because I did ask him in a live chat, and he
He
said
said he's
on
gonna.
it.
Yeah, he's gonna send it over, which is fucking great. I'm excited.
It's great.
That's our retro replay section.
Reach a reply.
Retro reply. Retro replies.
How many
Reply,
wines?
that's not- Shut up! I've had one, but it was red for you, PJ.
Red wine for PJ. Happy
Red
birthday,
wine for
PJ.
Happy birthday, PJ! I have now finished this, but you know, cheers.
Yes.
We've got the baby of the show. It's there for me. Not drinking.
Aw,
She's a good girl.
she is. They're massive jug of water. It kind of reminds me of like when they did the live stream with everybody from Uncharted 3, and Claudia Black had like the vase. That's totally what that's reminding me of right now.
Oh god, I'm so good.
I fucking love Claudia. I can't even speak. I'm not even drinking.
Claudia Black.
That's fermented.
That's the one.
It's actually Lambrini. Like just
Straight Lambrini.
Straight vodka. Just straight.
Ugh.
Oh god, no.
I made it myself. Like
All right, so I think we can say that we've had a good podcast, and it's time to wrap it up and get to ask our replayers to talk about it yourselves, plug your socials, tell us what you're doing, anything you want to share, anything you want to put out there for the world to know and hear, in that world of people who listen to this podcast.
Wendy, come on then.
Why don't we start with Amelia? Anything you got going on? Anything you want to share? Anything you want to plug?
Doing this thing called a live streaming on a website called Twitch. Don't know if you guys know about it.
Yeah, heard of it.
What's that
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
It rings a bell. Yeah. But yeah, seriously. I'm streaming on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I've got a schedule now. I'm on it now.
Oh.
It's _Amelia Brown. And I think all of my socials are it's _Amelia Brown. Thinking now, I'm like, is it?
Good.
I'm trying to, and this
It's
month
it's right, not
it's
Amelia Brown.
_
It's _ Amelia Brown.
yeah. And all of the money I raised from streams this month are going to VHL, which is a charity that's really close to my heart. So come drop by, say hi, come give me some love.
Good. We'll do.
love me.
He's left me in my
Perfect.
purple hat.
Oh, the purple hat.
Ah.
Anyways,
Anyway, Wendy.
anything else? Yeah, pass it on to Wendy.
I'm a copywriter, so I'm always available.
Love it.
Wow.
Yeah, at the moment, I'm just doing my own kind of thing while half of my clients have shut down over COVID. So I'm doing written by Wendy in the background. But I guess I'm kind of more supporting other people and doing their things. So it's like Shymi's stream yesterday and like raising money for the Minnesota Freedom Fund and talking to you guys, because obviously I love talking to you guys. Yeah, just kind of
talking to you too, Wendy.
hovering. I jump in, I help other people, and then I bugger off again. That's what I do.
I hop in and I bugger off.
I bugger off again. Oh, I love that saying. Bugger
Cute.
off.
Well, we can share that after.
Yeah,
when
I
we
can
wrap
drop
things
We,
up
well,
here.
we can pop the links for all your socials and Twitters, socials,
Yeah.
Twitters, Twitches, etc. Down in the show box thing below, and also then we can also put a link in for your charity. If you like.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
Can do
Much
that.
appreciated.
Welcome.
So, Pagan, what about you?
Oh, hello.
Oh, never mind.
My socials are the same at APPELEYES at 2 on Twitter and at Pagan_plays on Instagram and on Twitch. I'm still thinking about changing my Twitter name, so actually it might be able to be easier to find. I'm
Still
so stuck
thinking
in
about
my
it?
old ways. Yeah, just stuck in my old ways. But I might actually do it. So next week you might have a different Twitter handle.
Woo!
Damn it.
That's
Dan?
All right. So,
Over to you.
last but not least, I am Stark Evil Vash on all platforms as far as Twitch, Xbox, all those goody things. I like to stream on Twitch as well. And I am Stark E Vash, StarkyVash on Twitter. Insert mask reference.
Why?
Why?
the mask in here.
Not that why. Anyways, thank you, Amelia. Thank you, Wendy, for joining us this week and chatting with us, having an excellent hang.
Thanks,
It was a
guys.
pleasure.
You're welcome.
Happy to have you
It was
guys.
a pleasure for us. Thank you.
We love getting to know our replayers. And with that, it's game over, folks.